Sharp Game here, back with another video. And in this video, I wanted to talk about 5 mistakes that a lot of guys make when they try to talk to Japanese women or date Japanese women. And I saw an article online that somebody sent me today, and it had some mistakes that I actually made when I first got to Japan. And I mean, if you're coming from the States and you've never met any Japanese people or don't know anything about the culture, it's gonna be trial and error, because what you don't know until you experience or got some advice from somebody. So it's understandable. So I'm gonna read a little bit of this, and you can see the title: Dating Japanese Women, 5 Mistakes Most Guys Make. There are a lot of guides and information available on how to pick up Japanese women, such as, I don't know what that's in Japanese, but today we focus on how not to pick up Japanese women. In other words, what pitfalls should we avoid trying to woo the Japanese ladies. And at the bottom they just give you the mistakes. Like, number 1 is meeting for the first time in an improper place. Well, here's the deal. A lot of Japanese women, or just in the Japanese culture, they don't really they do everything indirectly because they fear confrontation, and they believe in keeping harmony between people or between a group. So what happens, most Japanese dating usually occurs amongst friends. Like you might double date or sometimes triple date. So in other words, you might have 3 women and 3 guys that might show up at a restaurant. So they'll pick a day and time and everything, and 3 guys will sit on one side and 3 women will sit on the other side of the table, and they'll just conversate and go back and forth, and try and find a connection with one of those guys or girls. So that's an example of double dating in Japan. And then you got a lot of women will go to places like clubs. They'll try and meet guys through friends. They'll try to meet guys at events or parties, places like that. But you can't really, it's very difficult to approach a Japanese girl like on the street, like on the sidewalk or something like that, or like out in public, because in Japan that's like forbidden. That's socially unacceptable in a lot of different ways. So what you gotta do in Japan is you gotta do things in a subtle, indirect way, because what you're gonna find is a lot of women are very shy, especially if they are attracted to you or they like you. They come off very shy, and they're not gonna cold dish you and become very rude like women do in the United States of America. They're not gonna say no, or they're not gonna totally reject you. They'll just walk off, or they'll just leave. So they try to avoid confrontation. It's kind of a different way of operating, but that's instilled in their culture, So you have to get used to that. You can't be so direct. You kind of have to sweet mac them. You gotta just have genuine conversations and just talk about Japan. Talk about the culture. Ask her questions about her. So that's what you need to do when it comes to that. And the second one is moving too quickly. Yeah, that's another thing. Like I said, a lot of women, they don't like moving fast. And like I said, they don't like being so direct. So a lot of time, especially if the chick is looking for a boyfriend or a husband or something like that, you have to kind of feel her out and make sure you're not moving too fast. And you can't be so aggressive. And number 3 is you have to failing to establish comfort before moving to seduction. Oh yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, you can't be so aggressive, and you have to make sure that she's comfortable and safe before you start trying to kiss and hug and hold her hand and all that stuff. You know, because like I said, a lot of Japanese women aren't so aggressive. You know, I mean, and they come off as very shy, especially if they like you. Like, it's kind of weird, but most of the time, if you ask a Japanese girl a question, if she doesn't respond, that means yes. Most of the time. It's kind of weird. You know, if she responds, that usually means no. For example, if you ask a Japanese girl out on a date, she's not going to say no. She'll say, well, I have this, and I get off at 6 o'clock, and I have so much to do, blah, 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 blah. Maybe we can go another time. And to her, that's saying no, but she's not saying it directly. You know what I'm saying? But if she doesn't respond, if you ask her a question, she probably smiles, and that means yes. And that takes some time to get used to. I know it took me about a year. But you just gotta make sure she's safe and feels comfortable with you before you start making any type of advances, especially when it comes to sex and getting affectionate and everything. And some guys is number 4. Some guys just talk too damn much. You know, I mean, some guys they start talking about how it is in America and how they grew up and what they got going on in Japan and how much fun they having in the military and how many girls they done been with and all that crap. Most Japanese women don't want to hear that. You have to listen, sit back and listen, ask questions about her, and just be cool. I mean, you don't really have to be all aggressive. Whatever she wants, she'll pretty much let you know in a subtle way. But you have to be able to catch the signs, subtle signs. And number 5 is getting a girl's phone number at the end of the day. Yeah. Now, this is kind of weird, but well, maybe it's not so weird. But if you get a Japanese girl, if you wait to get a Japanese girl phone number at the end of the date, that's kind of a turn off. Because if y'all are vibing it's usually a mutual thing. It's not usually in most cases, based on my experience, whenever I exchange contact information with a Japanese girl, I didn't really have to ask for the phone number. We usually it was like a mutual decision. She wanted to give the number just as I want, much as I want to give my number, and that's how it really is in most cases. Now, in some cases where I got the number at the end of the night, or maybe I got the number just in passing, I usually didn't hit it off with those women, because when I called them, I probably didn't get no response, or I didn't get a response that I like. So, but in most cases, the best relationships I've built came from the women that we felt like we were vibing, and we just decided to exchange phone numbers. So I didn't necessarily have to ask, and I didn't have to wait. Just waiting at the end of the night to get a phone number. That's probably not the best time, because most people are, if y'all hit it off, most of the time they don't want the night to end. But if the night is going bad, or not, or so kind of, they probably ready to get out of there. But just like I said, she's not gonna tell you that, because they like to avoid confrontation. They don't want to argue, so much. I mean, of course y'all have disagreements or discussions, but for the most part, most Japanese women like to keep the peace and have harmony and get along, and they don't like being controversial, or they don't like fighting and any of that stuff. For the most part. Now, I'm not saying you won't meet any Japanese women. I'm not saying all Japanese women are like that. But for the most part, they're very passive aggressive. So they don't really seek the drama. They just, very laid back, easy, very easy going, especially if they like you. So, these are the 5 mistakes that a lot of guys make, and I thought it was a pretty good article, but I think it came out like a couple years ago, but I think these 5 mistakes still apply today, because I made these mistakes when I was in Japan. So that's all I got. If you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel and check out my blog at chooseyourrelationships.com. That's chooseyourrelationships.com. And if you want to work with me directly, click on the coaching session tab and click the option that's best for you. And P.S. and by the way, subscribe to my my blog as well, along with my YouTube channel. So until next time, Sharp Game is out.